Good morning and welcome to Daily Journal Newsbreak sponsored by Renaissance Bank. Today's Thursday, August 30th, and I'm your host, Elizabeth Walters. We're going to take a look at today's top news and sports stories across Northeast Mississippi, but we'll start first with your weather forecast. Today, we'll have partly cloudy skies to start with thunderstorms developing this evening, and we'll have a high around 90 and a low of 72. And over the next 3 days, on Friday, showers and thunderstorms late with a high of 89 and a low of 71. And on Saturday, morning showers and thunderstorms with a high of 92 and a low of 72. And on Sunday, a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 92 and a low of 72. Now let's take a look at today's top headlines. The Gulf Coast will receive 75% of BP's settlement funds over the next 15 years. The House passed a bill on Wednesday that determines how the $700 million will be divided, ending a debate over how to split up funds after the state suffered damages after a 2010 oil spill. Passing this bill was the final action of the special session, and our media partners at Mississippi Today report that the state has already received $150 million of the settlement funds, and the legislature $50 million of that on Gulf Coast project. This is all part of a $2.4 billion settlement Attorney General Jim Hood and others negotiated with BP after the explosion of the Deepwater Horizon oil rig and the spill in the Gulf. And the Lee County Board of Supervisors are getting some pushback after halting political campaigning at meetings. We reported last week that board president Mike Smith blocked Willie Allen from campaigning during a recent supervisors meeting. And since District 4 supervisor Tommy Lee Ivy has objected to Smith's actions, saying that he finds a unilateral decision inappropriate and called for Smith to invite wider discussion on the issue. Ivy also raised concern about the fact that Allen, who is black, was barred from speaking after a white judicial candidate running for the same office was allowed to speak earlier this summer. Smith has denied any racial bias and noted that two other white candidates have recently requested to appear before the board and both were turned away. Smith said the issue will be discussed again when the board meets next week. And Ole Miss hosted the third annual Tech Summit on Wednesday, focusing on strengthening the state's workforce using innovations in technology. Among the speakers was FedEx Chief Information Officer Rob Carter, who encouraged executives to promote a work culture where employees feel empowered to do interesting things. And former Netscape CEO Jim Barksdale talked about the significant amount of money invested in artificial intelligence and how data breach has become a top priority, as the four largest U.S. firms today are tech companies. Cybersecurity was also discussed as the audience heard from John Felker, who oversees the National Cybersecurity and Communications Integration Center for the Department of Homeland Security. Felker said that the government is working toward building partnerships with private companies in financial and corporate sectors to combat cybersecurity threats. And other speakers during the summit included David Steele of Samsung Electronics America and Kevin O'Toole of Comcast Business Services. You can read more about this summit at thejournal.com. And in sports, as Mississippi State prepares for its season opener this weekend, Keytaon Thompson is ready for his second start at quarterback. Thompson played in Bulldogs' last game against Louisville last season, finishing with 274 yards and 3 touchdowns. And he said that playing in that game gives him confidence heading into week 1 of this year. Of course, Nick Fitzgerald will sit out this weekend's game against Stephen F. Austin for a violation of a team policy, and Thompson found out last week that he would get to start against the Lumberjacks. Thompson said he always has the mentality of being one play ahead or being one play away, so his approach hasn't changed at all heading into this season. And Mississippi State will host the Lumberjacks on Saturday night. And that'll do it for Newsbreak on this Thursday. Don't forget that this show is one of the many online offerings courtesy of the Daily Journal that gets you news off the page and on the go. Each story discussed today on Newsbreak can be found in your Daily Journal or online at thejournal.com, where you can find a new episode of Newsbreak each weekday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Elizabeth Walters. Have a great afternoon.